First of all, let's step back and talk about what is it that Intel's trying to do here.
So Intel's trying to do what has been sort of the holy grail of a number of these tech companies, at least companies such as Dish Network and maybe even companies like Apple and Google. They want an over-the-top television service. In other words, you get your TV over the internet. Over the top is sort of jargon in the TV industry. So I don't need a dish or a cable box in my home anymore. I can just log onto the internet and I can watch TV from my PC or my tablet or my phone. And theoretically, Intel wants to give you this with more choice and potentially for less money. But that's what we don't know yet, Corey. We don't know exactly what the pricing on this is going to be. So how compelling of a product is it going to be for those that already have cable TV?
It seems, the technology is certainly there. The customer demand is probably there. But the way the cable business works is all about the packages, the way that the cable operators are forced to take a channel they don't want to get the other channel that they do want from the likes of Time Warner. Is that the biggest obstacle here? Does it remain the biggest obstacle?
Yeah, I think what we're going to need to see here is that the programmers aren't dummies. They're not going to just let a new entrant in if the entire ecosystem, which is very profitable for them right now, collapses. So Intel will be a new competitor. They're fine with that as long as Intel plays ball. In other words, as long as Intel pays the going rate or maybe even a little bit more because they're sort of the new kid on the block here. So the question is going to be if Intel is paying a higher price for programming than even the current entrants, how are they going to be able to offer a product to customers that's compelling, that's less money? And the way that they might be able to do that is give you smaller bundles of channels, or they might be able to entice you to buy their product because the user interface is better. In other words, you can search for shows easier, say goodbye to those days of the 1980s grid on TV. You can find what you're looking for more. Or maybe they'll offer you a compelling content proposition where they have on-demand library type programming that maybe you can't even get right now. Sort of think a combination of what you know of Netflix and cable, but in a smaller bundle.
I wonder if Apple, it's usually the 800-pound gorilla is the dominant force in the industry. Apple is barely in the TV industry, but I wonder if that is the big weight in the room here, and that Intel has an advantage because they haven't done content deals in the past. Apple has. The music industry has came to regret that.
Well, right. I mean, Intel's going to be the new kid on the block here, and they're the first mover in this case. But your question is a good one. Everyone, I think, is sort of waiting for what Apple's move is. And they can go in a number of different directions, and we still don't know. They could make a TV, sort of a larger iPad that goes up on your wall, or they could really get into the TV business where they start cutting these content deals, which is what we're hearing, which is exactly what Intel is doing. That costs a lot of money.
Is there a model for this anywhere? Is HBO Go the model of over the top, or is there something else?
Honestly, there is no real model here, Corey, and that's why we know that Intel has entered into some financial discussions with, say, News Corp, but we don't know what these discussions are yet, and it could take a long time because programmers might be a little bit gun-shy to say, okay, you're the first ones in here. How much exactly are you going to pay us for just digital rights? There is no real player in this market yet. Dish Network wants to get in. It hasn't, and part of the reason it hasn't is because programmers are unwilling to simply hand over those rights because they don't really know how much they should sell them for.